Jai Hind. Hello my dear friends, you're most welcome in this video. Friends, today I have a new topic that is biodiversity. And in this topic, we will study the systematic chapter, and this chapter is going to be a wonderful chapter for all of you guys. Because if you have a background of BSc or MSc, or if you are preparing for any other state PCS exam, including if you have BSc, if you have botany optional, then this is very important video for you guys. Okay, and again the next thing, if you are preparing for UPSC and if you have botany optional in UPSC, then this is definitely work for you. Now let's see the chapter that what we will discuss in this chapter. Okay, so the systematics. So first of all, we will discuss diversity in living organism, friends. How it's diversity, so let's discuss about it. Okay, first of all I just adjust it and then we will study. So this is the systematic chapter we are going to see, and the first thing in this chapter about the diversity in living organisms. Listen, so one thing here, akhir what is diversity, how we know this? Okay, what is diversity? So first of all, diversity including the different type of organism found there. Okay, and habitat, nature, structure, etc., very different from one another. Okay, so this is diversity and they are living on the same condition. Okay, so let's see what is this. There is a great diversity among the living organism found on the planet Earth. So first of all, friend, the living organism which are found on the planet of Earth, there is a great diversity among them. Okay, now how? Solution. So they are differ in their structure, habit, mode of nutrition and physiology. Okay, so these are different from each other in their habitat, structure, habit, mode of nutrition, physiology, है ना, and other characters like reproduction or any other characters. They are different from each other. Okay, so the biodiversity of the earth is enormous. What type of biodiversity the earth have? It is the enormous biodiversity, because a lot of species are there on the earth. Okay, and they are different from each other. Okay, now current estimates suggest that the earth may be have anywhere from 10 to over 40 million species of organisms. Okay, the earth have 10 to 40 millions of species. ये याद रखिएगा, because these are important fact. Okay, so just remember this. There is no other scope of this, because you are from the botany background. Okay, so there is no option other than remembering or learning this thing. Okay, because these questions just come directly. अभी question आएंगे उसको मैं बताऊंगा which type of question comes in which exams. I will definitely tell you. ठीक है, तो over 10 to 40 million species of organisms, but only about 1.7 million have actually been described, including the over, मतलब कि here ना 1.7 million जो है ना organisms are described, but over in which or including over what 7,50,000 insects, about 2,50,000 flowering plants and 47,000 vertebrate animal. So these are organisms which are classified as or identified. Okay, but friends, one thing I just want to say you that I already told you that there are approx 10 to 40 million species of organism found on the earth, but how many of them classified? So the organism, about 1.7 million organism are actually been described or classified. Okay, so including I have told you that the 7,50,000 insects and 2,50,000 about flowering plant, including 47,000 vertebrate animal. So first important thing here, कि if any new organism is in the news, ठीक है, that the new organism is found or the their classification, habitat were described, then you have to follow that, because that new concept may be asked in your exam. Okay, that the new described animal is from which species or which genus. Okay, you have to remember this if any new organisms come in the news, then. Okay, so these are what? These are the static, but any new organism if come, then that may be asked in exam, definitely. Okay, so now the next, we call such a diversity among the organisms as a biodiversity. So friend, the first thing I have told you that the organism which has what? Diversity. Okay, diversity, and these are called what? These are biodiversity. Okay, now even though there is such a variety and diversity among them, the living organism shows a lot of similarities and common features, so they can be arranged into many groups. So friend, I actually know, and you also know, that there is a different different diversity including them, but it's not common that they have some features, same feature or common feature among them. Yes, definitely this is same. Okay, some organisms have the common features now, and they are arranged into many groups. Okay, in order to understand them, study them systematically, these living organisms, mainly the plants and animal, are grouped into under different categories. So friends, यहाँ पर जो है ना कि अगर if we want to study them systematically, then we will go for what? Systematics. Okay, then we will go for systematics, and they have to arrange in different groups now, or different categories. Now the next thing is the branch of biology dealing with the identification, naming and classifying the living organisms, known as taxonomy. So friend, in this video actually different terms will be you will understand about different terms, and you will know definitely about those terms. Okay, so first of all, this question may be asked in your exam, that is, what is taxonomy? Okay, what is taxonomy? Then टैक्सोनॉमी क्या है? ठीक है, तो टैक्सोनॉमी इज द बायोलॉजी, और इट इज़ द ब्रांच ऑफ बायोलॉजी इन विच विद डीलिंग विद द आइडेंटिफिकेशन, नेमिंग, क्लासिफाइंग ऑफ द लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म इज कॉल्ड टैक्सोनॉमी. just so simple, just make it simple, and नो नीड टू लर्न. ओके, नो नीड टू रट्टा मारना, मतलब रट्टे मारने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, पैरट बनने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. जस्ट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड इट. व्हाट इज टैक्सोनॉमी? तो टैक्सोनॉमी इज द आइडेंटिफिकेशन, नेमिंग एंड क्लासिफाइंग ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म और द लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म इज कॉल्ड टैक्सोनॉमी. दैट्स सो सिंपल. Now the next thing is the taxonomy is in Greek means rendering of order. What do you mean by the word taxonomy in Greek? It's mean the rendering of order. The word systematics means to put together. Now friend, if taxonomy word is about the naming, identifying and classifying living organisms, so what do you word the systematics means? The systematics means to put together. Okay, to put together. Now दो थिंग important रखिएगा. What is taxonomy? Identification, naming, classifying the organisms, and what is systematics? To put them together, है ना, to put them together. Now it was Carolus Linnaeus who used the first in his book Systema Naturae. Okay, the Carolus Linnaeus who used the first in his book Systema Naturae. Now systematics may be defined as the systematics placing of organism into groups of taxa on the basis of their certain relationship between organisms. ओके फ्रेंड, तो सिस्टमैटिक्स में बी डिफाइंड एज द, लिसन, यहाँ पर सिस्टमैटिक्स का एक ऑलरेडी मैंने आपको बता दिया. ठीक है, डिफाइंड बहुत स्मॉल वर्ड में, एक छोटा वर्ड में, कि टू पुट टुगेदर. बट इफ सिस्टमैटिक में बी ऑल्सो डिफाइंड एज systematic placing of organisms into groups or taxa on the basis of certain relationship between organisms. So what is systematic? Again the definition of systematics may be like this: is the systematic placing of organism into groups or taxa on the basis of certain relationship between organisms. Okay, so what is this? Systematics means to putting some organism according to their in some groups according to their relationship or certain relationship between those. Okay, so that may be classified as systematics. Now, so first of all, why we are going to classifying these things? That means what we need for classification. Why we need for classification? Now let's see about that. So first, one more thing, that first we have to revise these things, that what is taxonomy. Okay, taxonomy and systematics. Okay, and who gave the word systematics, etc. So taxonomy is the naming, classifying and identification of organisms or living organism, first thing. And the systematics is to put together, है ना, or you can say it may be identified as what, systematics placing of organism into groups or taxa on the basis of certain relationships. मतलब कि placing some organism into a group or taxa, okay, according to the common features or according to the common relationship between them. ठीक है, definitely you have definitely you understood this. Now the next one is need for classification. It is not possible for any one to study all the organisms. ये भी important है friend. It's not possible for anyone to study all the organism, okay, but if they are grouped in some convenient way, the study would become easier, and the character of particular group or family would apply to all the individuals and the groups. So first of all friend, यहाँ पर कि as we all know that here is a lot of organisms or species, okay, as I already told you in the initial video of this, like 10 to 40 million organisms are there, है ना, 10 to 40 million organisms are there, but identify only 1.7 or something, ठीक है, 7 million something like. But what about this? So this is not actually easy to remember all this or learn all this, okay, so we need to classify those. And how to classify? According to their common features, okay, we can classify some common relationship between those, we can classify. Now and if we classified into group, then a study much be easier. For example, if anyone from the botany background, then they plants should be classified as a different category, and animals should be classified as a different category. Vertebrates should be classified as different category, non-vertebrates should be in different category. So this much be easier for study or understanding these relations, okay. And in plant category, a lot of classifications are there, we will discuss right now in this video, है ना, or any other category we will discuss right now, okay. So first thing here is, okay, need for classification. What is classification? But if there are groups in some convenient way, it will be easier for the as the characters of particular groups or family would apply to all individual, then ठीक है, then classify understand will be diversity or better, ठीक है. Then if means ना, classification will be better when these will be grouped in some convenient way, ठीक है. Now history of classification, आखिर how and in what way these organisms were classified. Now in the 3rd and 4th century BC, Aristotle and other categorized organisms into plants and animal. Listen, here is important, मतलब now important another important questions will be come here, okay. So in 3rd and 4th century BC, Aristotle and others were categorized the organisms into plant and animal. The first of all, organisms were classified into two groups. Which one? First one is plant and another one is animal, ठीक है. These two groups, they even identify a few thousands or more of living organisms, okay. They even identify few thousands and more of living organisms. Now Hippocrates, talking about Hippocrates, what about him? 460 to 377 BC, the fathers of medicine listed organisms with medicinal value. So first of all, who is the father of medicine? The father of medicine is Hippocrates, okay. So like this you have to remember the facts, and this is the fact, no need to any trick or anything, okay. Who is the father of medicine? Hippocrates. Now Aristotle and the student Theophrastus made the first attempt to classify organism without stressing their in medical value. Now the first thing, now what Hippocrates did, he did that he classified plants which are of medicinal value, okay. For example, the plant having medicinal value, he kept in the one group, okay. Hippocrates kept those plant in one group that are of medicinal value. Now the next here is, okay, Aristotle and his student Theophrastus made the first attempt to classify organism without stressing their medicinal value. And the Aristotle and his means ना, यहाँ पर जो Aristotle and his student जो हैं Theophrastus, these two people classify the organism first time which are non-medicinal, है ना, without means without stressing the value of medicinal, ठीक है, without stressing the value on medicinal value. Now they try to classify the plant and animal on the basis of their form and habitat. So first of all, the first time who tried to classify the plant on the basis of their habitat, okay. So the Aristotle and Theophrastus both were trying to classify the first time the plant on the basis of their form and habitat. First time, ये याद रखिएगा. It was followed by Pliny and Elder. It was followed by Pliny and Elder. ठीक है. Who introduced the first artificial system of classification in his book Historia Naturalis. Now the friend, यहाँ पर Pliny जो है ना, Pliny the Elder है ना, Pliny the Elder, ये फर्स्ट टाइम जो है ना इस चीज़ को क्लासीफाई किए. किस चीज़ को? फर्स्ट टाइम इसी चीज़ को आर्टिफिशियल तरीके से क्लासीफाई किए इन हिज बुक विच वन? हिस्टोरिया नेचुरालिस. ये ध्यान में रखिएगा. हु रोड द बुक हिस्टोरिया नेचुरालिस? द प्लिनी. ठीक है. ये क्वेश्चन ना बीएससी के एग्ज़ाम में आई थिंक 2019 वाले एग्ज़ाम में पूछा गया था. जो बॉटनी ऑनर्स था ना उसमें पूछा गया था कि हु मतलब मीन्स लाइक दिस कि हिस्टोरिया नेचुरालिस इज़ रिटन बाय होम. तो हिस्टोरिया नेचुरालिस इज़ अ बुक रिटन बाय प्लिनी द एडलर. ठीक है. जॉन रे एन इंग्लिश naturalist introduced the term species for the first time for the kind of living things. Means friend, यहाँ पर जो जॉन रे जो है ना, जॉन रे was the first person who gave the term species for the living being, है ना. First time if anyone give the term about the species, then that person is John Ray. Okay. Now it was then the Carolus Linnaeus, a Swedish naturalist in 18th century, now known as the father of taxonomy, developed the binomial system of nomenclature, which is the current systematic scientific system of naming the species. The first thing ना यहाँ पर important है, ध्यान रखिए थोड़ा सा कि, और ये क्वेश्चन भी बहुत बार पूछा जा चुका है. ठीक है. The Carolus Linnaeus, the Swedish naturalist in 18th century. In which century? 18th century. Known as, now he is known as the father of taxonomy. I already told you that what is the definition of taxonomy. Please comment that definition. Okay. If you have remember, then don't worry. When you learn this, and then you can comment it. Okay. And it is so very easy. How? The naming, classifying, identifying the organisms. है ना, taxonomy. ठीक है. Now the Carolus Linnaeus who gave the first time binomial system of nomenclature. Carolus Linnaeus who gave the first time or the binomial system of nomenclature. Remember this. Okay, the binomial system of nomenclature was given by Carolus Linnaeus. And who is the father of taxonomy? Then the same answer, Carolus Linnaeus. ठीक है, Carolus Linnaeus. Now in his famous book Species Plantarum, he described about 5,900 species of plant and Systema Naturae about 4,200 species of animals. So first friend, यहाँ पर important जो है ना कि Carolus Linnaeus वाला बहुत मतलब कि important है, क्योंकि ये बार पूछा गया. यूपीएससी के भी एग्ज़ाम में शॉर्ट नोट्स पे आया था. ठीक है, ये चीज़ें. तो यहाँ पर जो है ना Carolus Linnaeus जो है binomial system of nomenclature given किए. ठीक है. Now he wrote 2 books. Mainly the famous book of Carolus Linnaeus is 2 important books, which are just discussed. The first book is about Species Plantarum and the second book is Systema Naturae. ठीक है, Species Plantarum and second book is Systema Naturae. In the Species Plantarum book he wrote about 509 मतलब 5,900 species of plant. ओके, मतलब कि प्लांटेरम से है. ये दोनों का नाम याद करने का तरीका थोड़ा सा देख लीजिए. इफ़ इट्स अबाउट प्लांटेरम देन इट इज़ अबाउट प्लांट्स, रिटन ऑन प्लांट्स. ठीक है. द बुक स्पीसीज प्लांटेरम इट इज़ रिटन अबाउट स्पीसीज ऑफ प्लांट एंड सिस्टेमा नेचुरे इज रिटन अबाउट एनिमल्स. ठीक है. दिस टर्म यू कैन रेफर टू एंड रिमेंबर. ओके. द स्पीसीज प्लांटेरम इज डिस्क्राइब एज व्हाट? डिस्क्राइब ऑफ व्हाट? तो इट इज़ द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ plants, है ना, species of plants. About 5,900 species of plant were discussed in this books. And Systema Naturae is for a species of animal, and about 4,200 animal species are given in this book. Now, okay, hope you understand this. Now the taxonomy and phylogeny. What is this taxonomy and phylogeny? ठीक है. So the friend, the taxonomy is the branch of biology that deals with the identification and nomenclature of living organism and their classification on the basis of their similarities and differences. So friend, taxonomy, अब देखिए, अब थोड़ी से पहले तो आप taxonomy की छोटी सी definition पढ़े, है ना, and then the definition is going to be larger, and if you remember the smaller definition, then it is very easier for you to remember that one also. ठीक है. So the taxonomy is the branch of biology that will deals with the what? Identification and nomenclature. I already told you the same thing. Identification, naming and classifying is deals with the taxonomy. Okay. So the same way it is just larger version of that है ना. Taxonomy is the identification, naming and what? Classifying the taxonomy. So the taxonomy is the branch of biology that deals with the identification and nomenclature of living organism and their classification of the basis of similarities and differences. Easy. 3 word important for taxonomy, that is identification, nomenclature and classification. These 3 important words for taxonomy. Then remember the definition of taxonomy. No need to ratta marna, ठीक है? No need to become parrot. Now the next what is about this is, okay, so it was the Swiss French botanist Augustin है ना, Augustin Pyramus de Candolle, मतलब AP Candolle, AP Candolle. ठीक है, ये जो है ना इनका नाम याद रखिएगा, ये भी इनका पूछा गया है. ठीक है, AP de Candolle क्या है ये समझिए. इट वाज द स्विस फ्रेंच बोटानिस्ट है ना, ऑगस्टिन पायरामस एंड डी कॉन्डोल. ठीक है, ऑगस्टिन पायरामस डी कॉन्डोल हु क्वाइंड द वर्ड टैक्सोनॉमी एंड द साइंस ऑफ नेमिंग एंड क्लासिफाइंग द ऑर्गेनिजम्स. ये भी क्वेश्चन पूछा जा चुका है कि द मीन्स द वर्ड टैक्सोनॉमी वाज गिवन बाय तो AP डी कैंडोल. ठीक है, और शॉर्ट फॉर्म में इनको बोलते हैं AP कैंडोल. ओके, तो हु गिव द वर्ड टैक्सोनॉमी? AP कैंडोल. एंड हु इज़ द फादर ऑफ टैक्सोनॉमी? ये चीज़ आपको कमेंट करना है. अभी इस वीडियो के थोड़ी ही देर पहले मैंने आपको बताया था हु इज़ द फादर ऑफ टैक्सोनॉमी. डेफिनेटली यू विल बी कमेंट दिस. ओके, नाउ देखिए, क्योंकि ना वर्ड कोई और दे रहा है, जो टैक्सोनॉमी जो वर्ड है, टैक्सोनॉमी वर्ड जो है साइंस ऑफ नेमिंग एंड क्लासिफाइंग द ऑर्गेनिज्म कोई और दे रहा है, टैक्सोनॉमी के फादर कोई और है. ये सब चीज़ों को आपको ध्यान में रखना है, यही क्वेश्चन में फंसते हैं स्टूडेंट. ओके, नाउ टॉक अबाउट द स्पीसीज. व्हाट इज अ स्पीसीज? The species is the basic unit of classification. Friend, species is the basic unit of classification and it is defined as the group of individual which is responsible for their morphological, reproductive characters and inbreeded among themselves and produce fertile offspring. So what is species? New definition and important definition, because this is basic, and if you know the basic then it is very very difficult to defeat you in any exam. ठीक है, इफ़ यू नो द बेसिक, बिकॉज बेसिक इज़ द फाउंडेशन. ओके, सो दिस इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड इंक्लूडिंग वन थिंग अबाउट BSc बॉटनी और एनी थिंग अबाउट बॉटनी, you will get means playlist about botany. Okay, and this will helpful for you for UPSC even, because all sequence order, in sequence order I have discussed those important topic which are necessary for your BSc exam, MSc exam or UPSC exam or any other exam. Just match the topic what you have to read and then go for the video, because deep discussion we will do in this series. Okay, this is about the botany. Now, so species, what is species? Species is the basic unit of classification. Okay, a species is the basic unit of classification and it is defined as the group of individual which resemble in their morphological and reproductive character and inbreeded among themselves and produce fertile offspring. Means friend, species किसे बोलते हैं? तो species जो है ना, it is the group of individuals, okay, which resembles their morphological and reproductive character and interbreed among themselves and produce fertile offspring. This is called a species. Okay, how? Because how? Just try to understand what I am saying. How it is called a species? Because they have what? Because they are group of individual and their morphological and reproductive character is same and they can interbreed. मतलब कि they can interbreed, they can produce their offspring through reproduction. This is called a species or the same species. For example friend, suppose that there is a cow. Okay, suppose there is a cow, it is one species. ठीक है, and there is a suppose buffalo, this is one species. So cow, ox and different cows and ox, है ना, what will we do? They are a species. How? Because they can they can what, they are resemble in their morphological and reproductive structure, है ना, or you can say character, and they can interbreed and they can produce fertile offspring of them, of their own. ठीक है, so this is a species. Hope you understand this. Now we are also species. Okay, now species are the then group into more inclusive taxa. Now friend, जो species है ना, इनको और भी अलग अलग taxa में different taxa में इनको grouped किया गया है. Okay, now listen how, which are grouped into larger taxa so that classification of hierarchy of systematics units that increases in inclusiveness from each level to the next higher level. Okay, so first thing है यहाँ पर कि these species are again divided into different taxa. The species are again divided into different taxa so that they can be classified easily and they can be understand easily. Okay, so they are higher level. Okay, from each level to higher level. How? The 7 main categories are used in the plant of classification of the given below. मतलब कि friend, जो plant का classification है ना, उसमें 7 main category दिया गया है. Which 7 main category are given and which are used in the classification of plants. 7 main category. Just remember those 7 main category. How? So first thing if you say that kingdom. What kingdom? Which kingdom? That is plant kingdom. How? Because plant kingdom is, if we say the word plant kingdom, then it is about all plant, whether any plant, है ना. If we talk about the plant kingdom, then it is the whole plant present on the earth, that all plant in the plant kingdom. Now phylum या division smaller than this, है ना. division कर दो, अलग अलग क्लासेस को, उसको बांट दो, डिवाइड कर दिया, डिवीज़न हो गया. फिर अब डिवीज़न के भी अंदर क्लासेस हो गए. फॉर एग्जांपल, अब मैं एग्जांपल दूँ आपके, तो सपोज स्टूडेंट, ठीक है, स्टूडेंट हो गए, तो स्टूडेंट को हम क्या मान लेंगे, किंगडम के रूप में मान लेंगे. बस एक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ समझने के लिए, बस ओनली वन एग्जांपल. इफ़ वी टेक एग्जांपल एज अ स्टूडेंट, देन दिस विल बी वर्क एज किंगडम. If we divide them according to classes, है ना, if we divide them according to classes, that is about division, about what, about senior, secondary, medium, है ना, middle, etc. And class, if we divide them also, तो 8 to 10, 7 to 6 like this, है ना. ऑर्डर, फैमिली, जेनस, स्पीसीज, तो इसी तरह से जो है ना प्लांट को भी डिवाइड किया गया है. तो फर्स्ट थिंग किंगडम, देन डिवीजन, देन क्लासेस, देन ऑर्डर, देन फैमिली, देन जेनस एंड देन स्पीसीज. ओके, देन स्पीसीज. तो ये मैंने लार्जर से देखा. अब अगर स्पीसीज से देखना है, छोटा से देखना है, तो क्या कैसे देखेंगे, तो सबसे पहले किसी एक स्पीसीज को ले लीजिए, उसका जेनस कौन सा है, जेनस को ले लीजिए. फिर इस जेनस जो है ना, ये जेनस किस फैमिली से बिलोंग करता है, फैमिली ले लीजिए. एंड देन ये फैमिली जो है ना, ये फैमिली किस ऑर्डर में है, तो वो ऑर्डर ले लीजिए. और फिर वो ऑर्डर जो है किस क्लास के अंदर आता है, तो क्लास ले लीजिए. और फिर ये क्लास कौन से डिवीज़न में आता है, वो डिवीज़न ले लीजिए. एंड देन ये डिवीज़न जो है फाइनली प्लांट किंगडम में आता है, वो किंगडम का नाम ले लीजिए. ये है आपका डिवीज़न, इस प्लांट का डिवीज़न है. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर जो है थोड़ा सा और हम फाइलोजेनी देख लेते हैं, फिर हम लोग देखेंगे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. थोड़ा सा और दायरे रखिए और समझिए ध्यान से. तो इस तरह से 7 इंपॉर्टेंट कैटेगरीज हैं जिसमें प्लांट को डिवाइड किया गया है. इन चीज़ों को आप याद रखिएगा, ठीक है. जस्ट रिमेंबर दोज नेम्स. ओके, रिपीट विद मी फ्रेंड्स. स्पीसीज, जेनस, फैमिली, ऑर्डर, क्लास, डिवीज़न और फाइलम, एंड देन किंगडम. ओके, एंड फ्रॉम अवेलेबल किंगडम, फाइलम, क्लास, ऑर्डर, family, genus and species. Now about phylogeny. The evolutionary history of the particular taxon like a species is called phylogeny. So the evolutionary history है ना about particular taxon like any species is called phylogeny. What is phylogeny? Evolutionary history है ना, evolutionary history, how it is evolution. Okay, so evolutionary history of any particular species or taxon will be what? Called phylogeny. Now the classification based on the basis of evolution called the phylogenetic classification. Friend, if any classification which is based on their evolution, then that will be called as phylogenetic classification. Okay, definitely you will enjoy and you are enjoying the video. I can hope this. Okay, now the phylogenetic classification is not always possible since there are several gaps in the fossils record which form that the basic of phylogenetic studies, and also evolution is the never unidirectional. Now the first important thing here कीजिए the phylogeny जो है ना, it is not unidirectional. Okay, so because finding fossils and finding other, one more thing, just wait, finding fossils or finding those things, it's not in unidirectional order. ठीक है, because some are waste, some are deposited or anything else. Okay, so now these are never unidirectional. Evolution is never unidirectional. Classification not explicitly based on evolutionary relationship is called the artificial. Friends, if those classification which not explicitly based on the, explicitly word का ध्यान रखिएगा, मतलब जो not explicitly based on the evolutionary relationship is called artificial. For example, okay, so यहाँ पर और important है ना कि artificial classification क्या है? The artificial classification is the classification which is not explicitly based on their evolutionary relationship. Okay. Now, for example, organisms are grouped according to the usefulness, like economic plant, or size like herb, shrub, है ना, climber, creeper. Okay, plant, tree, color like flowers, है ना, red color, blue color, yellow, जो भी हो, and ecological role like ground cover or etc. ground cover, aquatic plant, terrestrial plant, है ना, arboreal, etc. means arboreal not, but these things. Okay, and so forth, any other, because na these are organisms which are grouped according to the usefulness, how it is useful, है ना, it is मार्शी एरिया में उगने वाले प्लांट हैं या पूरे के पूरे पानी में उगने वाले प्लांट हैं, पानी के अंदर हाइड्रोफाइट्स हैं, क्या हैं, जीरोफाइट्स हैं. सो दीज आर द यूजफुलनेस ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन. इसका साइज कैसे है. ओके, नाउ नेवरदलेस मेनी बायोलॉजिस्ट मेक यूज ऑफ द नॉन सिस्टमैटिक क्लासिफिकेशन. ओके फ्रेंड्स, सो after watching this, many biologists make the use of non-systematic classification. Now the two kingdom system of classification. Okay friend, two kingdom system of classification which was given by Carolus Linnaeus and divided living organism into two kingdom. So friends, as I already told you that we will discuss till system of classification. Okay, and in the next video of the part 2 video of this we will discuss from here. Okay, system of classification which was given by Carolus Linnaeus, that is the plant kingdom, that is Plantae, and the kingdom Animalia. ठीक है, these two kingdoms we will discuss in the next video, and definitely you have enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching this. Stay tuned with me because all and every important chapter you can find on that channel. ठीक है friends, thank you.